truth. All right, we got to get back to the links right now where Tiger Woods makes his PGA Tour return this weekend. Here's Tiger on how he's been hitting off the tee box. Take a listen.
It's not a long drive contest. You know, that's. I was looking up a stat the other day, and I saw that I averaged I believe 296 in 97. I was second longest to John Daly, and I think Jason last year averaged just under 305, and he barely cracked the top 15. And so it's a different game. I'm longer now than I've ever been, but it's all relative. Everybody's bombing out there now.
So Tiger did a little digging when it comes to driving distance on his own. Let's go legit or not. Increased length off the tee from other tour players has accelerated Tiger's decline. Is that legit or not?
Yeah, that's absolutely legit. Like he alluded to, when he came into the tour 20 years ago in the late 90s, hitting the ball 300 yards off the tee was almost like watching Mark McGwire hit batting practice in the late 90s, hit those 540-foot home runs. It was a spectacle. But now, in today's game, 20 years later, the athletes that are playing are better because Tiger Woods took so much stock into the athlete that he was. As a golfer, he wanted his body to be in great shape. He focused on things, the science that went into creating club head speed so you can hit the ball farther. Of course, the biggest reason why so many people hit so far these days, LB, is because the equipment is just that much better. The balls travel farther, the drivers are more forgiving and longer. That is just the technological advancements in the game of golf that make the greatest of the great add so much distance to their game. If Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer were privy to the type of club and technology that Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy and Jason Day have in the 1960s and 70s, they'd be hitting 300 yards as well, but they were playing with drivers that weighed twice as much and were made out of wood instead of titanium. So it's just, a lot of it has to do with technology, Tiger's growth of the sport, becoming more athletic. I think that all plays a part in everyone catching up to where Tiger was so far ahead of the game 20 years ago. So this is very legit. Tiger has declined a little bit, but not so much that he should be a middle-of-the-pack driver of the golf ball. It's because all this youth and talent has come into the game, along with the developments that brands like TaylorMade and Callaway and Ping have made in developing the technology of the game.
You mentioned TaylorMade, and Tiger's going to be playing with a new set of clubs and drivers. Do you think that that's going to have an effect?
I do. I think, listen, my personal
you have a favorite pen, right? And
right.
You keep that favorite pen.
They say in golf, the old cliche is it's the Indian, not the arrow. It's the person shooting it, not the equipment that you're shooting, that determines how good you are. And that's true in golf, but when you are as talented as the best, few hundred golfers in the world, the equipment can make that much of a difference. And in my personal opinion, Phil Mickelson was saying this years ago when Nike got onto the scene, Nike equipment was inferior. Now, I don't have the chops to talk about the difference in equipment the way a Tiger Woods would or another PGA Tour golfer, but I do now play a TaylorMade driver because for me, personally, it was more forgiving for my swing. I did hit it farther and straighter, and if that's the case for me, what would be the case for Tiger, who is 18,000 times the golfer that I am? So that was just me, the way I felt Nike was trying to get into the game with Tiger, and they just didn't have the technology for whatever reason to make the clubs as forgiving as some of the other brands that have been in the game since the dawn of time, like TaylorMade. And Callaway was a brand that came along in the 90s with the Big Bertha and kind of revolutionized the game. Bigger is better, and everyone went that way, and that's why we're seeing drivers get bigger and better. I think TaylorMade will be good for his game. I think going back to his old putter will be good for his game. But ultimately, he's just got to stay healthy. That's what's most important. For Tiger, it's his body, and then the equipment is secondary.
Everybody's going to be tuning in to Torrey Pines. We know that for sure.